Welcome to the Alien Probe Podcast. It is Saturday, May 13th, 2023. I'm Doug. Joining me again today, MUFON Matt.
Good morning.
How you doing, Matt? How was your week?
I'm doing. My week has been good.
Did you work this week?
Oh,
work all
yeah.
week?
Oh,
Every
yeah.
day?
I work. Yes, I did.
What time do you got to get up in the morning?
I got to wake up at 3:15.
That's not morning, dude. That's the middle of the night.
No, right? That is so true. 3:15.
And you drive a garbage truck.
I do. Yep.
You have any bodies?
That's funny because we ran into a couple like the last couple months, and I've been doing this for 22 years, and that's the first time that I've ever heard of anybody having a person in their container.
Were they alive or were they?
No, they were dead.
So that somebody
Yeah.
they just died.
That's funny you should say that. Like I said, it wasn't in mine. Thankfully, no. No, I go house to house. So
do you look when you dump stuff? Do you look what's coming out?
Some trucks have cameras, other trucks don't. Unfortunately, the ones that dumped the two bodies that we knew of, one was in one city and one was in the other city. They weren't able to see it, but they did hear a thump. But you hear thumps all the time, so how do you know what it is? So yeah, some trucks have. I have cameras, so every time I dump your recycle, I'm like, oh look, you guys put a garbage bag in.
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
Do they put other things other than?
Oh
recycle?
yeah, tires, computers, monitors, you name it.
We actually had people. They probably still do it.
Mm-hmm.
Come and they walk through here and they look inside your
scavenge,
and they leave you a little thing. Oh, you did good.
Yep.
Or no.
Waste zero people.
You put styrofoam.
Bad.
That styrofoam
customer.
doesn't go in here from your Amazon shipment.
Bad. Yep. We have those.
All right, I guess we better get started on the UFO stuff. All right. So, a couple things we're going to talk about. One is introductory space science. It's the physics portion of the Air Force Academy training.
Yep.
And there were some differences there were some same, but there's also differences in the one from around the 1968 versus a few years later. And you read an actual version that I don't have here.
Right.
It talked about, what was it talking about?
It basically talked about the origin of the extraterrestrials, that they were here for 47,000 years. They lived in the oceans. There was very limited contact. So like I said, I think it was kind of, I want to say I don't think it was the same ones that supposedly Eisenhower talked to. Referring that there's more than one. But yeah, so I noticed that this one did not have the origin story basically on these extraterrestrials. Neither one of them do. The first one didn't have them, so there's not much of a difference between the first one and the second one.
It must be an I don't know if this is an elective. I think they said it is an elective.
Is it? Is that what it is? Okay.
And they said only about 20 people per semester,
yep.
I guess you would say.
I did see that too.
Go through that. But they do talk about UFOs.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think that the Air Force would be, we're not going to talk about that because we're hiding it. So there's really no reason for us to, but I think they want the students to kind of be aware.
Yes.
This might be something you run into.
Right, exactly. And you should probably be equipped to maybe figure out what you're,
well,
or at least describe.
They teach them to how to identify them.
Yep.
You may run into this, and what is a UFO?
Yeah.
And basically, it's just an unidentified flying object, or they've used UAP now, I'm sure.
Yeah, they used UAP then, too. If you look inside, I think in the second one, it says unidentified aerial phenomenon. So,
it's funny they don't like to use UFO anymore because that's kind of a stigma that attaches to flying saucers.
I still use it. I like the word.
We have to use it.
Yes, yeah.
That's amazing. So, basically 47,000. So in that original script, the
one
training
I couldn't find.
We can't find it, but it's 47,000 years ago that the beings were here, and then they went when we popped up. They ended up going into the ocean and hiding from us.
Yeah.
Which is what they're doing now.
I guess. Why? We're nice people. We get along. We're not warlike.
Yeah, we're not warlike at all. I can't understand why they, But, they talk about what some of the things, the theories of UFOs, mysticism, are they hoaxes, and rantings due to unstable personalities.
Yeah. That's not us, is it? Oh, wait.
Secret weapons.
Yes, yeah, right.
I like some of this Doctor Who stuff. Or
number C.
Yeah.
Alien visitors.
Yeah, we got natural phenomena, and then of course C. Alien visitors. And then they did go on to discuss what mysticism is.
Right,
and,
right.
Of course, we're going to jump right to alien visitors because, that's what we like to
That's
talk
the best
about.
part.
The most stimulating theory. And again, this is in the manual.
Right. The U.S.
This is 1968, in the Air Force manual. The most stimulating theory for us is that the UFOs are natural objects which are either manned, they would quote in quotes,
right,
or remote controlled by beings or alien to this planet. That is actually in the Air Force manual.
Yep.
There's some evidence supporting the viewpoint. In addition, and then they go on to say, Lonnie Zamora.
Yeah, the cases.
The cases. They go on. We won't talk
Barney
about
and Betty.
because we beat to death.
Yeah.
These cases.
Yes,
in
we
previous
do.
episodes.
Yes, we do.
So, but there's more human fear and hostility.
Yep.
So, they go on to.
It was a very scary the way they kind of none of this was positive. It seems, but right, they really kind of dwell on the fear and the hostility of what people may feel running into some of these.
Yeah, it's amazing, and then attempts at scientific approaches, but they've got some graphs and things. Here.
Look at that.
The cycles of activity. Of UAP activity mathematically corrected for long-term strong trends. So, they go on to say, some mathematics and, very boring. I don't know if I'd like it. Like I said, I think this is an elective class.
Here, I'm going to show this is what the graph looks like.
There you got it. It's the graph.
Yeah. Looks very 1968-ish.
Yeah. But then they do the references, and they go on to, and these are all I've read. I'll tell you what, I've read all of these.
Have you really?
Flying Saucers, the analysis of Air Force Project Blue Book, special report number 14.
I bet they're not easy to find, because all these are 50s or 60s.
Yeah, Flying Saucers, Serious Business.
Oh,
Dr. Bill, I may not have all these, but Dr. Bill had all these books.
Interrupted Journey, I read that. That was,
I haven't read that, actually.
I think that's Jacques Vallée.
Flying Saucer Fiasco from Look Magazine.
Carl Jung.
Yeah.
That Donald Menzel. I may have read that. I don't remember.
Anyway, they go on. I mean, I'm not going to read all these, but they've got.
Yeah.
Of course, they got, Jacques Vallée, Anatomy of a Phenomenon, Unidentified Flying Objects in Space.
Right.
So, it's. But anyway, what point we want to make is that's the old version typed. You can definitely see it's typed. It's a bit done on typewriter. We don't have the original document. So, it was just fascinating that they would go on to say, they just want the students, I think, in case they come upon something like this, on how to deal with it.
Right.
And to keep an open mind.
So, is that kind of in a way, a soft 60s version of a disclosure,
Yeah.
Would I prepare you for something that, you may or may not see?
But then in 68, you can see it, but don't report it.
Right, yeah. Oh, yeah, status. No. Yeah, you'd never fly again. Or, that's a quick ticket out.
So, I don't know. It's hard to say. Yeah. So, what we really want to talk about today.
Oh, yeah.
is ARRO.
Oh,
boy. Get that out of your way.
All right.
Okay, what's ARRO mean anyway?
ARRO is all domain anomaly resolution office,
which is a terrible title.
It's better than the other ones like OSSAP,
ATIP, OSSAP.
Yeah.
And a couple. When we're going to talk about, it was April 19th, I believe, was the meeting with the Senate people and the three other people in the room. I think four.
You might have bumped that up a little more.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a couple in there that scattered about. Nobody really wanted to be.
Where was everybody?
Where is everybody?
Where'd they go?
So the point we want to make is that it was terrible, and that they didn't talk. Sean Kirkpatrick.
Yeah, the guy with the tie chain. Never trust the guy with the tie chain.
Yeah,
that's my motto.
Was dressed well, I must say.
Yeah, he was dressed nice well.
I did notice the one thing I did notice out of the meeting is that he was dressed well.
He didn't want to be there.
Yeah, he did not want to be there.
He was not happy.
But he's saying that they had a total of 650 cases.
Yeah, and that they were working on what's that, a step of 300 more since his last report.
I was really happy that he went into detail on a lot of
Same. They did it's funny because the first one they wouldn't talk about sizes though, but they did mention sizes this time. So.
Yeah, that they were like 3 meters.
Yeah,
it's like a basketball.
Right. They weren't very descriptive, but they're like,
they're kind of leading us to believe that they're drones or something.
Yeah.
Not really. He doesn't want to go to He doesn't want to go to ET.
Right. And the other lady mentioned, could this be possibly Russian or Chinese? No, we're not here for that. That's.
Well, he did. Yeah, and he said he's worried. I mean, one of the points is that. He was worried about, the fact that could be something from another country.
Yeah. And if they've got that kind of technology, we should really be freaked out.
Yeah. So,
you know what got me too was the SCP. Somebody else's problem. So how do you call yourselves a office of resolve when you're passing on the buck?
You're not resolving anything.
You're not.
Well, he mentioned the fact that the public, they can't put together a website.
Come on.
Well, they can, but they haven't got approval. They can do anything they want. They just haven't been approved to put together this website so the public can report this phenomenon. So I mean, I don't know. It's just so bizarre. I can't. I just can't.
You know what comes to mind? Blue Book Part 2.
Blue Book.
That's what comes to mind. Or the Condor Report. Or it's like, come on.
It was interesting because you sent me that NASA thing.
They're coming back.
NASA's...
They're back.
NASA is...
not a straight answer. What was it? Someone told me it's never a straight answer. That's what NASA stands for. Never a straight answer.
Well, why? Okay, if this is the go-to end-all of agencies to figure out what's going on there, what the hell is NASA doing? Why aren't they feeding this information to these guys? I mean, what they need to, like I told you, or I mentioned to you, that they should be concentrating on Artemis. It takes them 2 years.
Right.
Elon Musk can put together a rocket, the Falcon Heavy or whatever it was.
Yeah.
No, I've got that wrong. But the
whatever rocket. Yeah, I get you.
They had to destroy. I mean, it was a success because it lifted off the pad.
Right.
But they ended up having to destroy it because it couldn't do its thing. I don't know why it was spinning like that. I actually got up early to watch that.
Did you see it?
I got up around 6, which is kind of like your
first
break for lunch.
Yeah, right. I'm about 8:45. I'm on my 7th cup of coffee at 6 o'clock.
I'm like, oh, no. That's when I wake up and I can't go back to sleep.
He also mentioned, too, that I think someone asked, what if, you found something that could be termed extraterrestrial of some kind of origin? What would you basically do? And he's like, we'd get a hold of NASA.
Yeah,
NASA's, they're busy.
They better be busy.
They're busy
I'm waiting for Artemis.
Yeah.
But speaking of Musk, the heavy, what is it, Falcon, whatever that is.
Yes.
Did you see what happened to their launch pad after that? It completely obliterated.
Did it really? Oh, no, I did not see that.
They had a car. I should have got a picture of this. But you can look it up. They had a car they used it was a camera car.
Right.
I don't know if it was some kind of SUV, a Pathfinder or something. It wasn't too new. I'm like, is that the best?
Yeah, that's all we got money for.
Like,
that's why we're trying to get our hand in there. We need more money.
Picked it up. Just like got on Craigslist and said, just get something that we can run from the launch pad over to the observation building.
My buddy has a car. You want to buy it?
So it has the camera stuff, and that's a hunk of cement launched off that launch pad and actually just
destroyed it.
Just landed right in the middle of this car. It was giant, just a giant piece of cement.
Thankfully, nobody was in that.
Yeah. Well, it was 1,500 feet. They thought it was couldn't have been 1,500 feet. That's too close, probably.
Right.
But it seemed far enough away to where, well, nothing's going to happen to this.
And wrong.
Yeah. The FAA shut down.
Oh, shit.
But talking about how quick of a turnaround, Musk has said, you're like, well, if that was NASA, how long would it take for him to, put together another rocket to take off?
Right.
A couple years.
Yeah, that's going to take another 5 years.
Yeah, he's like 9 days. Yeah, I'll be ready in 9 days.
I'm all ready. Let's do it.
Of course, that's what happens to your stuff.
We wrecked our
But they
Rex
considered
car.
it a success. I know they were all cheering. I said, you're cheering, you had to blow up your stuff. So I was like...
It was used. We'll get another. It's all right.
Yeah. But ARRO was mandated by the fiscal 2022 National Defense Authorization Act and established that year via memorandum penned by Deputy Defense Secretary Kathleen Hicks. I'm not sure if Kathleen Hicks was...
Was she the one that talked about... No. I don't remember.
For the mounting pressure from the public and Congress for explanations regarding, for those of you out there that don't know why this came about.
Yeah.
Explanations regarding multiple videos depicting U.S. military pilots' interactions with baffling objects detected across multiple domains in recent decades led to the inception
none of them
the
are extraterrestrial, according to his findings.
No.
Let's not forget.
Now we talk about, the recent scrambling response to the China's alleged high-altitude spy balloon.
Oh, that thing.
They never, and I was kind of waiting to see what would be happening with the other 2 or 3 balloons that floated in.
Yep.
I mean, you got some pimple-faced kid that says it was his. One of them was his.
Right.
It was like a project from his backyard.
Yeah. Privately owned.
So...
did we spend a $450,000 missile and shoot that one down too?
Oh, yeah, like $500,000.
Yeah, great.
$500,000. I don't know if did they shoot those down? Yeah, they.
Yeah.
But they couldn't find the wreckage.
Yeah,
it's like we have all this technology and we can't find an airless balloon.
Right.
Oh, it was in the Klondike and it's,
You know where it's at. It's around all the money that we spent to shed. You just look for the money trail. You'll find the balloon. All the money we spent shooting you down.
Yeah. Well, it was the other one, the original alleged Chinese balloon that flew through here. I mean, we don't think that thing's any extraterrestrial. Whatever.
No.
But they missed the first one they shot. That one they missed.
They missed.
We actually spent $1 million on that one.
Right. Oh man.
It's so we can't.
Good to know where my tax dollars going.
Probably because it didn't have exhaust or anything, so there's nothing to.
Right. No.
He actually had
heat.
to put the little crosshair.
Yeah. He had to actually.
I've just envisioned this guy.
Fly a plane and aim.
Plane with it. I'm gonna actually have to aim this thing.
Right. I haven't done
There's
that.
nothing
ever.
to lock onto.
Yeah, I've never done that.
It's kind of like the Tic Tac.
You can just drive by and shoot an arrow at it, or take a little while, but.
But Kirkpatrick, I mean, he was just.
He was mad. He didn't want to be there. He just had that look that he was just kind of annoyed by this. To me, I don't even think it was a Senate hearing. It was a check-in.
Yeah.
To let her know what, he needed. The Title 10, Title 50 clearance.
ARRO's still a young office. A spotlight on UAP in recent months underscores the importance of its work and the need for UAP to be taken seriously. Yeah. The second open hearing, this historically stigmatized topic of government-aligned UFO sightings in the last century. This is the biggest. He was the sole witness. He has a dozen people. I've heard one story where he has 12 people.
Right, and then now he's got a couple dozen, right?
Two
24
dozen now. And the other thing
They're getting bigger.
Well, it's first of all, we're still doing the same thing we've done for years, and that's we've got several agencies not talking to each other about this. They're not sharing information.
Nope.
ARRO itself is still compartmentalized.
Yes, it is.
If you talk to this guy, it shows that they're they're not probably talking to each other either.
No.
I mean, they don't know if they collaborate.
He reports to a boss too, and it's not just Gillibrand. He has a boss that he reports to. I think I heard somewhere on a different podcast where he had 20 plus people that came in and witnessed legacy old legacy projects, or black projects that they were working on. And again, he came up with the conclusion that it's definitely not. To my conclusion, there's nothing extraterrestrial about any of this. But he talked. So that's probably not a good conclusion to have after not hearing the rest of whoever. And does that really motivate people to want to come in and talk to him?
No, and you mentioned that you thought that the high security, which the public doesn't see.
Right. That one came first.
Did they mention that it was first?
No. So the first one, I don't remember. Yeah, I'm sure you remember where they would ask a question and Moultrie or, I can't remember the other guy's name, would say, oh, well, we're going to talk about that in the second one. That's the more classified version. We're going to talk behind the doors one. This time, they did that one first. So it seemed to me like that senator she was a lot mellower this time. She didn't ask a lot of questions. She was more just trying to figure out what he needed. It was like she was already briefed about that already and what not to ask.
Yeah,
she didn't ask much.
They're trying to make it seem, and what they won't tell us, and they're hanging their hat on. Well, we can't tell. We're not seeing ET.
Right.
The reason we can't talk about it, it's sensitive electronic devices.
Right.
That were used.
Right.
See, we can't say what it is.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this before, where it's like you can't. I don't need to know exactly what the piece of electronic was that did this.
Right.
But you can tell us what you saw.
Even Christopher Mellon made a tweet about there's ways to show us actually and tell us what you're seeing without showing us how you're seeing it. There's ways to do that. And they're just classifying everything. Nope, classified, can't see it. They're not putting forth much effort to be transparent with it.
Yeah, Kirkpatrick explained they could go across all the reports and look for commonalities, like how many of them were being described as round and spherical objects that are maneuvering. How many of them are not maneuvering? How many of them seem to have a plume to it?
Yeah.
Them highly scientific.
Right. Yeah, right. There's no heat signature off that.
But he committed to providing the UFP investigation report by June or July. It's always tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that'll get pushed back. But...
they'll do it, but they won't tell us anything. Mm-hmm. It's always a joke. I remember the last couple we would talk about how they aren't... NASA's coming up with
with their own
the reason
findings.
that they're... With what you sent me, they're coming up, I think, next month.
Yeah.
They're going to report on what they've found about UAPs, which will, find out nothing probably.
Yeah. In fact, I think you have to pay for NASA's TV channel to actually view
I think you're okay.
Are you? Can you watch it for free?
Well, I watched it before. I didn't have to pay for it.
Okay, good.
Unlike, ESPN Plus that I had to subscribe to stream Formula One race. recorded, by the way, not even live. I'm not happy about $9.99 a month.
Right. Oh, God.
You can't watch, $100 a year to watch, Formula One races. You have to get up at 3:00 in the morning.
That's already pre-recorded. That's already
I won't be watching those live. My son, Johnny, he's into F1.
Right.
And you into racing at all?
NASCAR back a while ago. We used to go to all of the ones down in where it was Sears Point Raceway or Infineon. We'd go to the NASCAR.
Peg you as being a redneck.
Yeah.
I was a huge NASCAR fan.
Were you?
Back
Nice.
in the day.
Right.
I watched everything.
Yeah.
My favorite driver, Dick Trickle.
Really? Oh, wow. I remember Dick Trickle. Yes, I remember Dick Trickle. Mine was, of course, Earnhardt, which everybody loved,
My ex-wife would say, everybody you like ends up dying.
Yeah, that's, gosh,
she
yeah,
said
that's
Dick
right.
Trickle ended up committing suicide. We never really...
That's right.
That was the most horrifying... I mean, I read the story about that. Where he went to the cemetery where his daughter.
He drove the white reddish car, right? Wasn't it?
Well, he drove a bunch of different
yeah,
cars.
that's true.
Dick was not your. Well, he was Rookie of the Year at like 46 years old. Did you know
Really?
that?
Oh, jeez.
I don't think he ever won a race. He never won He never won the cup race.
Right.
I think he might have got a top 5. He won the lower series races.
Right.
The not the Featherlight, but the one above that, the Bush series.
The Bush series.
That's what
yeah.
called it then.
Yeah.
You can't name it after any.
You
can't name it after any beer anymore. Right, or cigarettes.
Right.
Winston Cup.
Yeah.
You can't call it that
cigarettes,
anymore.
Right.
But yeah, I love NASCAR. It was, but yeah, my wife says, yeah, everybody. I don't know if you remember Dana Plato. She was on one of those sitcoms.
Yes, not Facts of Life.
It was one of those.
Yeah,
I really like Dana Plato.
Different strokes.
Yeah, I really like Dana Plato, and I was in love with her. And my ex-wife's like, yeah, she died too.
She committed suicide too, didn't she?
I think she overdosed.
Oh, she overdosed. Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know.
That's right. I just read an article about her about 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah, and there's been others. So
don't like me.
I don't.
Okay,
yeah.
Don't like me. I don't want to go anywhere.
No famous people. I'm not allowed to. Nobody that's famous can be liked by that.
We do not want you as a fan.
Yeah, the sports teams. Yeah. Oh, you like the Kings? Yeah, they're sucking now.
Yeah.
The Raiders. Yeah, they're sucking now.
That's right.
I don't know. I can't, it's like I'm not allowed to like any sports teams either.
Without it going down.
Because, they're
without it going down.
They're not happening either. So to make sense of the bizarre happenings detected by humans, sensors, and other technologies in the military, we're back to ARRO, by the way.
Yeah.
The military's arsenal. His team of more. Oh no, it's 3 dozen experts.
Oh no! See, it's just growing. Wow. Every.
Maybe we should apply.
Yeah, I would.
They're hiring.
I'll do it. Yeah, you pay my pension and my retirement. I'm down.
Are applying some automation capabilities and other emerging analytic tools.
Oh, that sounds important.
With natural language processing, for example. Kirkpatrick explained they could go across all of the reports and look for this commonality thing.
Yep.
So he offers a preview and review of the demonstration of the complexities of the team's pursuit. So you got 36 people. I've been in management practically my whole life.
Right.
I just want to know what those 36 people are doing.
Yeah.
What's your
They're
job?
passing it on. That's what they're doing. It's somebody else's problem here.
Yeah, there's comfort in numbers.
It's juggling. That's what they're doing. They're juggling. Here, you throw.
I got more budget, so I got to hire more people.
That's right.
Typical government operation.
Yeah. Right.
They're just, you just throw a bunch of people at it.
Yeah.
I say if you don't come up with anything, you start swinging the axe.
Yeah. I agree.
Demand results.
That's right. Put a little feet to the fire.
So he mentions his review and demonstration of the complexity of the team's pursuits. Kirkpatrick presented an example of one solved and one unsolved UAP case, each separately caught in different places by MQ-9 Raptor drones, field of regard.
So I had a problem with the solved one. I don't want to see one that we already know what it is. I want to see the ones that you have no clue what it is. They did show one, that orb, which is great because that's not the same film footage that the one Jeremy Corbell, the Moselle orb, whatever it was. It wasn't the same. So there's 2 different. That kind of makes the contrast that there's 2 different. There's orbs out there. But the first one, okay, it's a plane. The commercial. How did they not know it's? I mean, you can literally figure out where commercial planes are at all times. So,
hey, Matt, I don't like the orbs.
You don't like the orbs? The orbs, they freak you out?
I don't like the orbs. They don't freak me out. They're boring.
Yeah, because
it's about, and they're small, too. Yeah. A lot of them are small. Yeah, they're about 3 meters. So they got this ball.
a bowl.
Like a bowling
BS,
ball.
Yeah.
Well, 3 meters. I mean, it's like 3
Nobody's
feet.
seeing the saucers anymore. That was the first ones I saw. And I never saw a saucer again after that.
Did you see the saucer?
Well, it was a cigar shaped, and there's 3 of those. So I'm guessing if it turned sideways, it would probably be a saucer. But again, it wasn't the silver, saucers you see of the gold. Those are my favorite of the golden age, basically. This was very high illuminated. So I'm imagining that it would, if it turned sideways, it would have been a saucer, because it's kind of like the cigar shape, like 2 plates put together.
Yeah, I don't know. And they say that they're flying like this.
Yeah, some of them do fly, basically end of.
They don't care about aerodynamics.
No,
they could be shaped like a box.
They have their own little, their
inertia system. Like I said, one of the guys.
So I'm sure in the ship, you can't tell if you're sideways or upside down or any of that. You're just going.
Yeah, this week I talked to one of my people, one of the guys I am associated with at work.
Yeah.
And he had a sighting down in Temecula, and he said it was actually blurry.
Yeah.
Which it's funny because as we go through this, you hear more and more about what might be real.
Right.
That it isn't that distinctive flying saucer.
Right.
Only if it's sitting still, maybe.
Right, right.
But when it's moving, it has to have the inertial dampener.
Yep. There we go.
When it goes,
so it should be blurry.
When it goes 1,500 miles an hour,
right.
you don't get liquefied.
Yeah.
So it's as close to as I go through this, and the things that and he said the one he had wasn't going that fast, but it probably still has. They still have to flip
still
on
have that field,
a toggle switch.
Yeah, click on.
Dampener.
Maybe when it doesn't come on, they're like, oh goodness, Bob, go down there and check it.
But Kirkpatrick states that though ARRO is still young in the office, the spotlight on UAP in recent months underscores the importance of its work and the need for UAP to be taken seriously as a matter of national security.
He should look a little happier when he's...
He just doesn't... I don't know. You're in front of you.
He's so blah.
And the late... I forget. Who was on the board?
That would be Gillibrand and the lady you mentioned, who I'm horrible with names. There was 2 other people, or at least one other one up there on the board. That's the elephant in the room,
Kathleen
too.
Hicks.
So where were the rest of the people? There was a lot of empty chairs with name tags sitting there.
I don't want to be associated with that still.
The first one, it wasn't that full, but there was a lot more people, and this time it was just her and Hicks.
It shouldn't be highly stigmatized like it used to be. So I don't understand why people wouldn't want to be there.
Right.
And it's almost, maybe they were there for the secret part, and then they decided,
they're like, I'm out. Let's go to McDonald's.
Go have lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just makes sense the bizarre happenings detected by human sensors and other technologies in the military's arsenal. His team of more than 3 dozen people.
Right.
Kirkpatrick explained they could go across all the reports and look again for commonalities. Offering a sort of preview that military sensors are already deployed. So I don't know.
They're already getting radar on these. They're seeing them.
The whole thing is we couldn't see. I hear stories that you can see them on radar.
Yeah, some you can't. You can only see it with the naked eye, and other ones you can only see through what's the either the heat or the other one.
Infrared.
Infrared.
Yeah, what are we trying to do though? We're trying to find out where they come from or what they are, or what do you want to know?
Let's do the basics. What do they look like? I don't know if we're ever going to figure out what's inside of them. But what are they and where are they coming from?
Kirkpatrick noted that most of the sightings occur at an altitude of 15,000 to 25,000 feet.
Commercial, isn't that commercial?
Yeah, up to 40,000. Ultimately, where our aircraft are.
Yep.
And like we just said, a little more than half of the UAP are spherical in shape.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's like that's a recent development. Have
we
always known about the balls?
No, if you go back to all the books that I read, the older books, there wasn't many. Most again, saucers, conical, where they're not conical, kind of like a
oval,
oval, and then stick. I remember seeing a lot of videos and reading where it just basically like a tube.
Yeah.
but not many. Oh, I mean,
I'm a little disappointed. I want to see a freaking flying saucer. I don't want to see a ball.
We're gonna hang out more, and we're gonna go out. It's unfortunately most people see them at night.
Are we doing we gonna do that MUFON night thing?
Yeah, yeah. I didn't do that last year. I'll do it this year.
But you have your
I have
glasses.
Yes, I have night vision.
Have you ever gone out and looked?
I have.
You're like me, though. You live in an area where there's a lot of ambient light
yeah,
around.
Yeah.
So you're just
going to work because I have to literally drive through the back part of Dixon, so there's no light out there. That's when I used it. I used it a few times. I didn't see driving? Much. I'm not going to talk about that right now.
Well, it doesn't.
No, I better not drive. It's like narrow vision. If I drive, oh boy, no, I pulled over like some weirdo, pointing my glasses in the sky.
A car looks next to you.
Yeah, like what is this guy doing?
Like a little kid with goggles.
Yeah. What you looking for, buddy?
I'm gonna have to get some of those. I think you get infrared. You want those or infrared?
I'd rather have infrared, but those are way more expensive. Night vision were less than let's say less than $300. Infrared was I think the cheapest ones I saw were about $1,200.
But wouldn't it be worth it?
It would. It would. I'm saving up. My payments.
Just put on a credit card.
Yeah, I just put on a credit card. It's gonna be.
Your wife's like, "What is that?" Charlie?
My name is Sean Kirkpatrick. Here's my credit card. I'm kidding. Do not take me to jail.
Kirkpatrick always shared with the team has observed that typically reports feature of UAP they're tracking so far are mostly 1 to 4 meters in size. They're not very big.
That's small.
Well, the ETs could be little. You have to remember.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
I have to think why do we think that they're going to be
our full-grown size? Yeah.
They could be microscopic. You ever think about that?
Oh my goodness! Now I'm not going to go sleep tonight.
They could be right here.
Don't say that.
My dog, Deb goes to the river a lot. That's where she is now.
Right.
With Max that can't stop barking.
Yeah. He did a great job on Serpo, by the way.
I've had 2 people comment about how cool your dog came on.
I was laughing. I'm like, Max! He was just putting in his 2 cents. Max! Buddy!
So they like to drag ticks home,
Right. Yeah, because they're in the... Yeah.
And I had a tick on me, and I literally thought, that could be
an alien space.
That could be alien.
Right.
That could be an alien.
Right.
I promptly got rid of it. When they're white, silver, translucent, and metallic in color, and he mentions also velocities from stationary to Mach 2, which is interesting. Mach 2. That's
can you even see that once it takes off? I mean, I guess
they're somehow able to track that.
Yeah. I think it's because they have a wide spectrum for any kind of radar, I would imagine.
Yeah, and I would want to know where they're going and where they're coming from. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's almost like even with the satellite stuff that we're putting up, you got Musk putting out Starlink and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, are we going to be able to, when they shake hands, they call it shaking hands from one satellite to the next. Are we going to be able to eventually find out? Or are they just flying around just always in the air?
Yeah.
They're just always flying around.
Like we never land. We only ever fly.
There weren't any thermal exhaust detected.
Right.
Which is, okay, that's good.
And sound. Most of the time, there's not a lot of sound.
They get intermittent radio signal. Radio returns.
That's how, yep. That's thermal.
Yeah, they get intermittent thermal signatures.
Yeah. Yep.
He's found no credible evidence thus far of extraterrestrial activity, though. How does he know?
Oh, boy.
How do you know?
Yeah.
You don't know what they are. I
hate that statement. It makes my blood boil. I hate that statement.
About yesterday. What's NASA involved? Why they just,
I had to take a nap after our talk on that.
I go, we're using up all our good stuff.
Yeah, we are. I'm trying to bring it back here.
Or off-world technology. He doesn't agree with that. Even though the objects that defy known laws of physics, so they obviously have to be from here.
Right. So that's exactly. So what he's saying is they're not off-world. They're not alien. Somebody on this planet made them. So that still may be, a hint that maybe they're on this planet. Doesn't mean we know them though.
So, in his view, there's a lot to be gained in determining that a UAP isn't of exotic origin. Why would you make a comment like that? I mean, you know,
tie chain.
I don't like the tie chain.
I don't like the tie chain.
I don't trust anybody with a tie chain.
I don't trust people.
I know. I listened to Rogan the other day, and he doesn't trust anybody with untucked shirts.
Yeah, yes, that's yeah.
I mean, tucked in shirts. Like, people with tucked in shirts. It's kind of funny. So I put my shirt on the other day,
and you don't tuck it in.
Well, I have to. It's got this big long.
Right. It's like down your knee.
It has to be tucked in.
Are you wearing a dress?
I'm gonna get a side eye from the boss.
Right. Oh yeah. You walk in there untucked. Yeah, you're gonna
look like I just got out of bed. I love Rogan. He had James Fox. You listen to the James Fox?
That was a great episode.
And he did, what was it?
For the Moment of Time was a movie, but it was the Brazil case. That was a really
Was that
good
the documentary
episode.
from?
Yes.
Yeah, that he went out and.
Yep.
That was one of the best. You know, I don't know if Rogan agrees. It's important that Rogan agrees with me.
Yeah.
That that's one of the best stories out there.
It is.
I mean, it's. They found the ship crashed. It was like a leaf. They said kind of like a leaf that was falling. And the ship crashed and it cracked open the side and a couple of aliens spilled out. And they were oily.
Yep.
Because
they smelled like rotted eggs, I think. And it was a smell you could never get rid of.
Pneumonia.
Pneumonia.
Yeah. And they, law enforcement person down there grabbed one of them and tried to take it into the hospital, or did take it to the hospital.
Yeah, and that guy died.
He died of some sort of bloodborne disease.
Yep.
And which is really bizarre, but
and there was many witnesses.
Yeah,
to
the
all
two
of this.
girls that they saw one. It was in a courtyard.
Yep.
And they look like creatures. I mean, they don't look like ebens or grays.
Yeah, they were dark too.
They look like creatures, like
oily.
A dark brown.
Yeah.
They weren't that cool, green.
Yeah, kind of grayish or green. Right,
Green's my favorite color.
Yeah.
I like the green ones.
Those are the best ones.
It's like Serpo. As I go through Serpo, they're the Ebens.
I love that story.
Yeah, and I do too.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to tie those. I'm trying to tie all these sightings together.
Right.
I need to probably put chronological order.
And
write it down. Or
Yep.
type it up or whatever and start when Serpo left in 65 allegedly and 7 came back in 78.
Right.
But those were the Ebens. And
and those were the gray or green?
Green. They're kind of a green color. And they on their planet, I'm at the point now, I don't want to spoil it for the next one, but
right.
I'm almost through the book too. And they actually have they actually are building, one of the guys died.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, his number was 308. They just had numbers.
Okay.
And they had nicknames later, but 308 died on the way. So they don't know, heart attack or something.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I think it's did they say it's 10 months? I'm not quite to that. With Deb and I, we're not quite to the point. We're actually only at...
And Max. Don't forget Max.
And Maxwell.
Yeah.
And we're only at the point where... we're almost to the point where there's how they do the selection process.
Right. That's going to be interesting.
Debbie's like, do they force them to do
that? Yeah. You will do it.
I go, no, they don't force them to do that. They're volunteers. But they have to be virtual orphans, though. They don't want anybody related.
Right.
No wives, no family.
Yeah, no.
And you got to figure, you're picking people like that. Is that the best part of society that you want to
do? Yeah, probably not.
You don't have any friends either?
I never thought about that. You're right.
You don't want any friends.
We want some loner.
No friends.
Yeah, who hates everybody.
I don't want anything. It's interesting, but I'm at the point in the book where they're on the planet.
And nice.
And the commander has actually done a log, a diary.
Right.
So we'd be quoting a lot out of the diary, and
That's gonna be good.
They had it's really interesting.
Yeah.
They come across their genetic experiments, and they're making hybrids, animal even, human even. They actually 308 was the point I wanted to make, which
cryptids.
Probably
is that what it is? Pop in the
the 308. They used his DNA, or not his DNA, but they used his body
Right.
to make a hybrid even human. And then they walked through the lab, and they had a bunch of beds, and there was like half animal, half even.
Right.
Just all these different. One looked like a monster.
Oh, shit.
Another one had like a face in the middle of its body.
Oh, nice.
It's like,
isn't that from a comic book?
The commander and he had a couple other crew members with him, and he was freaked out. He said, because they're so docile, they don't,
Right.
They have the Ebens have a leader. He's just taller. He's an Eben, but he's taller. And he doesn't speak English. They have a couple of
Is he mental?
One of the medical technicians was he spoke good English.
Right.
And there's EBE2. EBE2 they call him. It's an Eben, and then it was a female, and she spoke good English. So it's going to be interesting.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So members of the U.S. National Security Committee have suggested that some of the unidentified objects cited in the advanced aircraft developed by other countries, such as China. We got to definitely mention China.
Yeah, or Russia.
I'm amazed that they haven't taken over Taiwan.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I expected that to be already had happened.
Well, they're right there. I know they're scared of us because they're on our side.
Right.
But it feels like something bad's going to happen soon.
It does. I feel like there's somebody just waiting. Of
course, I grew up in an era where they had, air raid sirens, and you had to get under your desk.
Right.
Did you have the air raid siren where when it was noon it went off? They tested every day?
No. I went to school in the ghetto. I don't even think they had an alarm bell. There's people just out there ringing things in a bucket. No, I don't remember that.
You didn't live in the hood, did you?
Yeah, Richmond. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, right.
My dad and I used to, I'm from the Bay Area, but my dad and I would drive through Richmond.
Yeah,
because you kind of got off. I remember you'd go up
to go to the.
You kind of get off the freeway before you go over the bridge.
Yes, yep. To get up, yep. Point Richmond. Yeah, that's where my father lived.
And my dad was a roofer, but he did decks.
Nice, right.
On Saturdays I would get to ride with him.
That's cool.
He was doing a bunch of decks in Sausalito.
Right, so you got to cross over.
And we went over the Richmond Bridge, past the prison.
Yep.
And
that area wasn't bad.
I was in literally, what grade was I? I was probably in 4th grade.
Right.
And he would leave me at there was a restaurant with a pier next to it.
Right.
At Sausalito.
Sausalito, yeah.
And on Dean's, I think it was. And he would let me just fish there. I would fish there while he went and did his deck.
Right.
4th grade.
Right.
You just brought,
Back in times when, you were safe and it was good.
People would just come up, these tourists.
Right.
Because, oh, look, there's part of the indigenous
tribe in the fishing village.
You getting any bites, son? Nothing weird ever happened.
That's pretty good.
But I would wander.
And this was for years, right?
Yeah, I would wander through Sausalito. I'd get bored. I wouldn't catch anything.
Right.
So I'd carry all my fishing stuff around Sausalito.
That's crazy.
And they had this one area where they had, it was a model of the bay.
Right.
And it's gigantic model of the bay.
Right.
You could go in there and, I don't think I got a chance to go in there. Not everybody go in because it was a scientific thing.
Right.
But I remember it had the name of it on the.
That's cool.
On the building, and I would just wander around, and I don't know how I found my dad.
Right.
I'd walk in the streets.
Did you just for hours? Right?
Yeah, wandering around looking at stuff, seagulls.
Nobody ever freaked out, or not like nowadays,
Nobody did anything weird.
No. See, those are the times. My mother used to leave me at the Fairfield Mall because I went to school there. She was working at Travis, and this is right before she transferred over to Mare Island. And I would wander that mall for about 4 hours until she was off work, and she'd pick me up at a designated spot. And never had any problems.
Yeah, it's a different world. This
world
isn't that nice now.
It's
all
not
these mass shootings.
Right.
What's up with all the mass shootings? I have like 200 mass shootings.
Yeah, good gosh. It's horrible.
Well, on a lighter note.
Let's get back to
they're less risk. Kirkpatrick, they are less risk averse at technological advancement than we are. I don't know what that means, averse. They are just willing to try things and see if it works. That's a good comment.
Yeah, that's very scientific.
Their capabilities that could be employed against us both in intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance and weapons fashion. So, they're trying. I mean, they're trying their best to make sure that this is a surveillance thing from another country.
Yeah, they really are. They
don't need that. They got the Chinese balloon that just floats across the
U.S.
we got it. Yeah, don't do anything about.
They don't need any help with that. Here's a Chinese balloon.
They didn't want to crash it in the middle of Kansas because they didn't want anything to get
anybody.
Wrecked.
Yeah, they didn't want anybody hurt. We'll shoot it over water where we'll never find it. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's do I have evidence that they're doing it in these cases? He says I have concerning indicators.
Indicators, yeah.
The surveillance, he says, I don't know. Go ahead.
If it's anything, if it's Chinese or Russian, that shouldn't even be his involvement. He's there to figure out the things they can't figure out. Yeah. Not to figure out the things they can. That's why I kind of got annoyed by the video that he showed us that they did figure out. There was something. Well, we don't need to hear about that. That can be an SEP where it's somebody else's problem. But actually, it was a commercial airline, so it's nobody's problem. It's it's within its right to be able to. So it's kind of a waste of time when he's showing us things that this is just something normal. No, we want to concentrate on the whatever percentage of the non-normal stuff. That's what we pay you for. The non-normal stuff.
Yeah. So ARRO supporting Biden's administration Tiger Team effort. I think that's not a real thing.
Yeah, I think that's
to deal with stratospheric objects such as China's high altitude balloon. I mean, what's your read on the balloon thing?
I know they just adjusted the radars and they started seeing things that were probably always there. So that kind of caused a little bit of, turmoil where, oh, wow, there's balloons traveling around, in our airspace. So now, we've got to start doing something about them. So I wasn't really freaked out about it. I mean, if we just now started seeing them, they've probably been there for years. It's funny that all of a sudden they just do a little adjustments, and I think they knew about a lot of these already, but now they've did adjustments, and it ties into the whole, UFOs are real thing. Again, I think it's a diversion. That's all I think. I just think it's another look. See?
Oh, is that you? Yeah, your read. I don't know if it's you that thinks they're trying to make us concentrate on that to get our mind on something else.
Yes.
That was you. That was your.
Yep.
Yeah, and you're not the only one that says that. I've run across other people that make that statement as well.
Again.
When previously unknown objects are successfully identified, it's ARRO's role to quickly and efficiently hand off such readily explainable objects to the intelligence, law enforcement, or operational safety communities for further analysis. So what are they doing?
So there's no resolve. It should be hand off. Take resolve out of that.
What is their role? I mean, I thought their role was identified.
Right. Resolve.
I mean, what are they called anyway?
Yeah, right.
All domain anomaly resolution. Resolution.
Anomaly, pass off.
You're not resolution. You're not having. No. You don't have a resolution if you deflect it off onto somebody else.
Like you said, I agree now. It's the worst name ever. Worst name ever.
It's basically meaningless.
It should just be SCP. It's somebody else's problem. Let's just cut it short. Make it easy.
Say SCP.
Yeah, that's it.
Somebody else's problem.
He said that a few times.
Somebody else's problem, Kirkpatrick. You're doing nothing, Kirkpatrick.
Yeah, we're paying you to pass it off to somebody else.
That's amazing. Okay, so they're organizing a lot of the information it uncovers on a classified portal, but the office hopes to soon provide an unclassified web portal to better inform the public of its findings.
Start writing your Senate, your congressmen, and make them come up with a web page. Show your concern that you want to see some kind of web page. There's supposed to be transparency somewhere in here.
Yeah, this would be nice. So we don't have to wait for the report.
Right.
We just look to see. We should be able to see
Yep.
what it is we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody write your congressman.
That's right. Ridiculous. Whether it's unknown or known, we should be able to see it.
Officials also working on the Joint Staff to issue guidance to all the U.S. military services and commands that establishes official reporting requirements, timelines, and expected data collection actions associated with their sensors or other tools that could help inform ARRO's investigators so that they can find out what it is and then hand it to somebody else to not do anything.
Exactly.
And then it just goes, it vaporizes right there.
That's it.
I don't know. I give it to him. I don't know what happened to it.
And they're like, oh, we don't have time to figure that out.
Worst management plan I've ever heard.
They need you. I think they need you to work there.
That could be released in the next few weeks. The next thing that comes after that is a plan that will go out to the commands for mitigation and response. But we're just giving it away.
Yeah, we're not resolving crap.
So they're still compartmentalized. I had a little sad face. I wrote that.
Did you? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see that. Face. Yeah.
That wasn't in the article. That was
Blue
me.
Book. Was that? Yeah. Good. It's true. Blue Book Part 2.
Further arrows under INS purview. Kirkpatrick is supposed to report directly to Deputy Defense Secretary Hicks. When asked at the hearing if he's steadily briefing Hicks and whether he would prefer different reporting lines, he referred the inquiries back to officials in INS and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. So they get another nothing sandwich.
Yep, there we go.
The Deputy Secretary and Dr. Kirkpatrick have met, but beyond that, I don't have any more details, says Defense Scoop. That's where we got the article.
Okay.
He's asking those mainstream scientists who are kind of closed-minded about the topic to consider other ideas and to keep on the table that maybe it is aliens. Rojas, this is from Defense Scoop. So
this is not from...
Clarify, this is not from Kirkpatrick. We don't have evidence of that yet, but...
his tie chain.
Yeah, the tie chain.
Back from saying anything beyond...
All right, you ready to wrap it up?
Yes, sir.
There's ARRO. Now y'all know.
Yeah.
That's ARRO.
I need a nap
We'll
now.
keep everybody informed.
Yeah. I need a nap now.
NASA, mind your own business, or give ARRO what you got.
Fix your missiles.
Give it to ARRO so they can give it to somebody else.
That's right.
And have nothing happen. Thanks for listening to the latest episode of the Alien Probe Podcast. We welcome comments, questions, and requests to alienprobepodcast@gmail.com. Visit us on Facebook. Check out our website, alienprobe.net. Has all of our episodes. Free of charge.
Woo!
Probably always will be. Twitter and Instagram at Alien Probe Pod. YouTube, like and subscribe at Alien Probe Podcast. Should come right to the top. Thank you for joining me, Matt.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Move on, Matt.
That's
I
right.
don't know if Matt's going to be able to make
the meeting.
Move on today.
I might need a nap after being mad about it.
See you next time.
Bye.